When the IQOO Z6 Pro launched at about 25,000 rupees, I was like, okay, seems like an okay device. But then when I saw that with multiple discounts, it was being sold at 19,999, that piqued my interest. Now, what do you think about these instant discounts and offers? Are you happy that they're there, or do they make you feel like it just makes the choosing process harder? Leave a comment down below. But anyways, I've been using this phone as my primary for about a week now. And in today's video, let's see if the IQOO Z6 Pro, given the reduced price tag and all, is actually worth it. What are the pros and cons associated with this device? Let's find out. Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech, and if you do end up liking what you see in this video, thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon if you haven't yet, and let's get started. So first, let's start with the built-in design. The IQOO Z6 Pro is one of the more comfortable to use phones today. It's got a matte finish to the back with that slight curve inwards. The display is also just 6.44 inches, meaning the phone is not too wide and is relatively easy to hold. The 187 gram weight also helps make it more wieldable. What you are seeing here is the black aka Phantom Dusk color variant. IQOO also offers the Z6 Pro in blue, Legion Sky. If you want flamboyance, that isn't something you're going to be finding here, but if you want a minimal good looking bag that's also comfortable to use, the Z6 Pro most definitely fits the bill. Now that doesn't mean it's without any compromises, that definitely are. For example, the sides and the back are plastic, there is no support for a headphone jack or micro SD, the earpiece does not pull double duty as a stereo speaker. That said, the audio output is quite loud. When you keep pressing the volume up key, IQOO even provides a volume booster of sorts, which takes the volume level to 150%. Generally with volume boosters, the audio quality takes a hit, but here it's still pretty good. There is support for 7 5G bands, which isn't the best, but it's also far from the worst we've seen. That said, the cell reception and call quality in my time with this phone, it was pretty good. There is a secondary noise cancelling microphone up top. The volume keys that we saw, they sit alongside the power key to the right. There is nothing to the left, and to the bottom, that's where you're gonna find the SIM tray, primary mic, Type-C port, and the sole downwards firing speaker. The fingerprint scanner is present under the display. It's of the optical variety and it works just about as well as you'd expect it to. Facial recognition is also present and accounted for. It's quite quick, but some might not like the fact that the 16 megapixel f2 selfie camera sits in a notch and not a hole punch. Me personally, as long as the selfie camera performance is good and the display is fine, I don't really care if it's a notch or a hole punch. But what do you think? Do you prefer hole punches over notches, or do you want, say, pop-up cameras back? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, the selfie camera performance is actually quite good. This is a Samsung sensor, the 3P9. You might not have heard of it before, and that's because unless it is a Sony sensor, brands don't even bother mentioning it, even in their communication with people who are reviewing the phone. In that way, gotta give IQOO props because they sent me one of the most comprehensive spec sheets I've received from a brand in recent times. And that's a sign of a brand believing in their product. You know, a sign that they aren't trying to hide information. So gotta respect that. Now moving on to the rest of the front, we have a 6.44-inch AMOLED panel with a Full HD Plus resolution and a 90Hz refresh. The display looks gorgeous, the colors pop, it's a typical quality AMOLED panel here. It's covered by shot sensation up for protection. IQOO boasts of a peak brightness of 1300 nits, so outdoors legibility isn't an issue. As for performance, running the show here is a 6nm Qualcomm Snapdragon 778G SoC. Which, for the price, it's brilliant. Games like PUBG and Genshin Impact run quite well, and with testing I also noticed the cooling's excellent. With the CPU throttle test, the SoC only dropped to 87% peak performance after 15 whole minutes. We have a large vapor chamber on the inside that helps keep the temps under check, keep the throttling down to a minimum. Even after extended gaming sessions, the Z6 Pro never got uncomfortably hot. Now the 778G here is paired with 8 or 12 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM and 128 or 256 gigs of UFS 2.2 storage, which is a strange choice given that the last time around they had UFS 3.1. But anyways, the user experience is fine. I was very happy with how the Z6 Pro performed in my time with it. Whether it was launching apps or jumping between them, I rarely experienced any issues. This here is FunTouchOS 12 built on top of Android 12, and it's pretty similar to a lot of other BBK interfaces. You can repurpose some of that storage as RAM. The RAM management BTW is fine. There is an ultra game mode with features that we've come to expect. One little caveat here is haptic feedback. Though the phone boasts of 4D vibration and all that, the actual haptic feedback is quite weak. That's one of the first things you'd notice when you start using this phone. It's not a deal breaker or anything, at least for me, since the overall user experience is pretty close to flagship, but it's still something worth keeping in mind. As far as battery goes, we have a 4700 mAh unit on the inside, and it easily got me through a full day of moderate use on a single charge. If you need quick top-ups, then there is a 66-watt charger included in the box that can get you to half charge in 18 minutes or full charge in 51 minutes, which is quite fast. And with that, it is time to talk cameras. We have a triple camera set up to the back. The primary is a 64 megapixel omnivision sensor, the OV64B. This is paired with a f1.8 lens. Under well-lit conditions, it shoots detailed images with good dynamic range. And even under challenging conditions, the night mode here ensures we get usable results. This isn't a flagship camera experience, but it's definitely very good for the segment. Even with video, we get up to 4K 30 with electronic stabilization. The footage seems crisp with loads of detail. The secondary is an 8 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide, and it's okay, fits more into the frame and the colors aren't matched with the primary, which is a little negative to note. Now the third one is a 2 megapixel macro, which has been put in here to give you a triple camera setup. So that's the IQOO Z6 Pro. Let's now break it all down, starting from the phone's strengths, the performance, the cooling, the user experience with the software, the battery life, the included charger, and to an extent even the primary camera, all this at a reasonable price point. Now these are the Z6 Pro strengths. As far as weaknesses go, the secondary shooters, maybe the notch up top, the switch to UFS 2.2 from 3.1 on the last gen, and the fact that the prices mentioned here are all including offers and not the actual MSRP. What I mean by that is my conclusion here is solely based on the fact that this is a 19,999 phone. If IQOO were to remove the instant discounts tomorrow and this started to sell at 24,000, I'd probably say go ahead, look for alternatives. But for what it is today, at the 19,999 price point, IQOO seems to have put together a pretty solid package. Well, yes, there are some downgrades from the last gen. The Z6 Pro still seems to have enough to warrant being chosen over the Z5, which is still selling beat up. If you own a Z5 already, do not even think of upgrading, at least not to the Z6 Pro. And that's my conclusion. And this is a nice little mid-ranger that does what it's supposed to without a lot of fluff. What do you guys think of the IQOO Z6 Pro? Do you like it, hate it, don't care about it? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, give this video a thumbs up or thumbs down based on whatever you felt about the video. Also subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. And I guess that's it. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Until next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech. And I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.